especially against the backdrop of the avalanche of private investigators that we find across the nooks and crannies of the country. And they are performing very vital function in complementing the effort of our security forces and intelligence personnel towards nipping in the bud criminality and criminal activities. So it is good that such an important sector should not be allowed to go unregulated, because it portends very serious and potent danger if left unregulated, because it is going to be subject to abuse and even encroachment upon the fundamental human rights of citizenry. And then by regulating them, it is also going to go a long way in stamping out quackery in the practice of private investigators. So against the backdrop, I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill in the spirit of light. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Oshimole.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Adams Aliu Oshomole. I represent the great people of Edo North in Edo State. Mr. President, I have listened very attentively to the presentation by my very dear friend, Senator Ugu, and those who have supported him. First and foremost, I think the wrong impression is given as though, as of today, there are individuals who are approved to carry out private investigation, such that we now need the law to regulate it. I am not aware that this is the state of affairs as at now. Mr. President, I will plead with the appropriation chairman and the clerk to grant me the benefit of hearing, of assuring that Mr. President understand my own reservation.
Yeah, I will repeat what you said.
Thank you, sir. I have no doubt that you had me.
That the impression of the bill is that there are private individuals who are engaged in investigations.
Yes, sir.
But that should not be the case, because the bill is going for the first time.
That's right.
And you don't think that is the situation.
So Mr. President, you are exceptionally gifted. That's why you are a common city president. Even with two people distracting you, including my friend in appropriation. Sir, as they speak, I remember one particular gentleman, I don't mean any harm. I think one Mr. Obla, who was set up along with others to carry out investigations. And in the end, and I don't mean that he was the one responsible, that institution target individuals and agencies more or less for blackmail. And in the end, the federal government was so embarrassed that they had to be disbanded. I think that for this Senate to enact a law that will give a Nigerian to apply for a license and to be sole licensed such that he can carry out investigation on anyone. I saw here to prevent fraud prevention. That is what EFCC and the police are about. Corporate fraud, any manner of fraud, whether corporate, individual. I think that it would be risky to license anyone to have the right to approach any one of us and ask certain questions because the law has empowered him so to do. It will just be a license for extortion, a license for blackmail, and unnecessary rivalry, and it will not be controllable. I think that if there was to be need, and I need to be persuaded that that need exists, to have private investigation, which is currently vested in about 3 institutions: the police, SIB within the police, DSS, and of course EFCC. All of these are charged explicitly,
including ICPC.
including
ICPC.
ICPC. All of these are put in place. Thank you, Mr. President, for your very helpful comment. All of this exists for the one purpose: to investigate and, where convinced, to prosecute. For us to go beyond these institutions established by law with clear mandate as to what they can do and what they cannot do, and with clear provisions as to how they go about their business. For us to create an open-ended field where any Nigerian, the bill doesn't even seek to say you have to be a lawyer or a senior advocate or have specific qualifications. But even if you were to say so, I believe that it will just amount to giving some few people the power to intrude into your privacy, the power to be used by political opponents to victimize perceived targets. I do not think that even the mover of this motion has reflected deeply enough about possible abuse. We have a duty in a democracy to protect the privacy of any Nigerian, whether small or powerful, to give tools to any Nigerian to be able to intrude into somebody's privacy and ask questions which ordinarily he has no right to do. Mr. President, I am extremely reluctant, and I urge my colleague, if we cannot shut down this bill at the second reading, and my position is that it should be shut down. If anybody thinks we need to do to revisit it, then it will require that we have all the details. Because we are not discussing, we are driving this vehicle without a dashboard. The law is not before us. The specific provisions is not before us, the Igbo leadership. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Civil Senator Omar.
I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support this well-intentioned bill brought by the minority whip. I say so because the need for private investigators is to serve the purpose of bridging the gap where agencies enumerated now by the same Senator Shomole fail to do their work diligently. The country will have opportunity to have independent investigators. Because there are so many cases we know that have arisen, but they have been swept under the carpet by these agencies expressed the mandated to carry out these investigations. Mr. President, there are so many issues of murder that have been reported to the police, and the police has not been able to do any diligent work to investigate them, particularly when they go into it and see very highly connected people around it. They sweep it under the carpet. Nigeria cannot afford to proceed this way. From this bill, you can see that civilized nations of the world have private investigators. And what this bill is seeking to do is to regulate the standard of practice for those who will be licensed as private investigators in Nigeria. Not anybody who applies will be registered. One is that the authorities should be satisfied that the applicant who applies to be registered as a licensed investigator, private investigator, will have the credibility and the expertise, the wherewithal to help us to crack unresolved issues, particularly criminal issues. I don't think that my brother is right to say that we should shut down this bill. That is also unparliamentary. when a bill is before the Senate, nobody should say it should be shut down. You make your contribution for or against the bill based on facts and convincing reasons. So this bill is a very important bill. And I know that if we pass it in the end, you will see that when due diligence is applied in appointing people and licensing them to be private investigators, a lot of unresolved crimes and matters will be dealt with. Nobody will be able to cover anything anymore. The issue of Obla, which you alluded to, is just too outlandish to use it as an example.
He did not mention the name.
No, he mentioned Obla. He did. I'm in the chamber. So what I'm saying is that this bill, for all intents and purposes, is desirable. We should be able to support it and pass it. The licensing of these people should be able to regulate the conduct of people so licensed. It's not for witch hunting or somebody going to investigate anybody at his whims and caprices. The court can make use of the evidence produced by a private investigator, particularly when the authorities that are vested with these powers are not able to assist the court with diligent investigation reports. Thank you, Mr. President. I think that the sponsor of this bill should be commended because it's very, very important. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is Senator Neda.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Neda Emerson, and I represent Edo South Central District. Mr. President, I stand to support this bill, and I'll say why. The private investigators bill or function is not something new at all. It's something that is practiced in most places outside Nigeria. In other words, places like the UK, the United States, and the rest. I have used them when I practiced law in New York. What they do, especially, the insurance companies use them most especially. You see situations where someone is filing for insurance claim that he couldn't go to work, and so they are paying him monthly for not being able to go to work as a result of an accident or terror. But he's at the beach playing beach football and enjoying himself. The private investigator goes there. He doesn't know who they are. They record him and present it before the insurance company, who then deny the claims based on the lies that he has projected. And it's so in so many other areas. There are so many investigations that they carry out that if you leave it to the ICPC, like you mentioned, EFCC and the rest, those ones are already bogged down with serious matters that is taking their time. This might not even attract them at all as something that you should do. And so these private investigators will fill in these gaps, as has already been said. And so I stand to support this bill in all its ramifications. I know that by the time it comes up again and we look at the nitty-gritty of it, then we all can say one or two things about it. So, Mr. President, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. This is Senator Amin Abbas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Amin Abbas, Adamawa Central District. Mr. President, I tend to disagree with most of the speakers. For these reasons, Mr. President, on this bill.
Are you in support of the bill or against?
I'm against the bill, Mr. President. I'm against the bill because if you are asking people to go and be licensed, I presently practice private investigation in this country. I investigated a lot of people in this country as a forensic accountant. I cannot go for another under another regulatory agency for me to be licensed to practice. I give evidence in court, and lawyers can investigate and give evidence in court. So you don't need to put people to go into another round of requirement to go and be licensed before they practice. This is not a new thing in Nigeria. Most of the institutions, most of the professional bodies do investigate and do report and do even go to court and give forensic evidence in court, Mr. President. So I think it's just a duplication of effort to me personally. And I support Single Senator Adams Oshomole because I knew the work of the gentleman he called. I knew what he did when he was there as a person to recover public property. I knew the people he blackmailed. I knew what, even his interview, if I show you now. But we are not mentioning one person, we are not taking one person as instance. Every provincial body in this country can investigate and can report and can go to court and present. So I think we don't need to bring another body to regulate people or to make people register or license. Thank you, Mr. President.
This is Senator Zam.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Dr. Titus Zam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to express my reservations, very serious reservations against this bill that seems to advocate. You know that our country has certain fault lines, religious, ethnic, and all of that. So empowering individuals with the license to investigate, Mr. President, time will come when your own political enemy will now say, I have a private license to investigate you. So I will advise that we tread carefully in transplanting certain agencies that have existed in more developed countries. Nigeria is still crawling, and we need to strengthen our oversight responsibilities to see to it that the existing investigative bodies do their jobs efficiently instead of duplicating them with additional investigation agencies. I therefore oppose that this bill be read the second time. Thank you, Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleagues.
This is Senator Salim Mustafa.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Saliu Mustafa. I represent Kwara Central. Your Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, I want to lend my voice in opposing this bill of the establishment of private investigators. I'm doing this simply out of also what my colleague Senator Ned has said, that in faraway United States where it's been practiced, he has also enjoyed the use of this. At the same time, I want to correct that notion that over there in faraway America now, the existence of private investigators is a subject of debate now, whereby citizens are also not happy with the conduct and the manner in which the private investigators have been turned into mere witch hunting of either people's personal relationship in terms of marital and some other issues. I would prefer we look inward on how to strengthen our institutions, whereby we should not be comparing private investigators with federal agencies. It would be wrong for us to be saying the federal agencies are not doing their work. As such,
we want to empower private investigators. Rather, we should be strengthening our institutions. So that they can meet up to their.
It's very clear that I need to put the question. But before then, I'd like to read out the objectives of the bill. Fraud prevention, detection, assessment, and resolution. That is for the individual. We have corporate fraud and risk management services, insurance fraud and claims investigations, aviation accidents and loss investigation, marine loss investigation, occupational health and safety incident investigation, witness location, and bail bond defaulters. If you look at the objectives, the intentions here, these are not things that an individual can carry out alone without adequate training. The person must be well trained, the office must be well manned, and it definitely cannot be one individual. So these things are already spread around almost all the agencies of government, including the DSS, the police, the ICPC, the FCC, and others. But most worrisome is what distinguished Senator Zam and distinguished Senator Mustafa Sadiu pointed out, that in a country where we have numerous wives, and then any of the wives can approach a private investigator, and they will bring very false evidence against you, and at the end of the day, you end up being scandalized. Social media will take that report as if the report is true. But however, I want to urge, in view of the divergence of views and the concerns raised by your colleagues, do you want to reject this and then represent it so that we just step it down? Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. While I was working on this bill, the issue you raised now was one of my major concerns. Somebody said that several men will not be very comfortable with it because it will impinge on their freedom of going to the other way. So, Mr. President, I will actually advise that we put the question. But, well, let me go back and rework it and also consult more of my colleagues. I will do further consultations and then. Thank you.
So I believe strongly that is a very magnanimous position. So the Civil Senator Assistant Group has applied that he be allowed to step down this bill for further consultation. Those in support of his position say aye. Those against say nay. Only one voice. The ayes have it. The bill is hereby stepped down for further consultations. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues,
The third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the David Umahi University of Health Science Establishment Bill 2024, SB 365. The single senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 28 February 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the single senator Mohammed Dandutse Muntari, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
The single senator Dandutse.
Thank you, Mr. President, my respected colleagues. I remain Dandutse Muntari Mohammed, representing Katsina South. Mr. President, the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the David Umahi University of Health Science Establishment Bill 2024, SB 365. I so move, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Jaribe.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Jaribe Agon Jaribe. I represent the group of Koshula North Senatorial District. I rise to second the motion for the consideration of the report. I so second.
Two senators, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support that this report be received by the Senate say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senator Dandutse may proceed to read the report. Senator Dandutse, go ahead to present your report. The summary of your report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. My respected colleagues, the Senate at its plenary session on Wednesday, 28 February 2024, debated the general principles of the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of David Umahi University of Health Science, Uburu, Ebonyi State 2024, SB 365, which was sponsored by distinguished Senator Peter Onyeka. After extensive deliberation, the bill was read for the second time and referred to the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund for further legislative action. Senate Order of Referral date 24 February 2024, and to report back with its recommendation. The objectives of the bill. This bill seeks to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction the opportunity of acquiring a high education in health science, develop an upper academic and professional program, act as agent of catalyst through postgraduate training, research, and innovation for the effective and economic utilization of the exploitation and conservation of Nigerian natural, medical, science, technology, economic, and human resource. Committee legislative action. Of a referral of the bill, the committee deliberated on the provision of the bill and took into action the view expressed by distinguished senator. During the debate on the general principles of the bill at the second reading stage, the committee further engaged with relevant stakeholders, contribute their views on the merit and demerit of the bill as guide going forward for its enactment. Distinguished colleagues, you may wish to note that the bill was passed on Wednesday, 10th May 2023 by the Ninth Senate, but was among bills that were not assented to by Mr. President. The committee deliberated further on the provision of the bill and took into account the bill expressed by distinguished senators during the debate on the general principles of the bill on the second reading stage, observations and findings. From the view conversed by the stakeholders and subsequent analysis of the presentation, the committee hereby makes the following observation and finding: that the stakeholders and all the participants unanimously agree on the intent of the bill, that the establishment of the proposed university, which is one of the 6 health science universities for each geopolitical zone, is very timely, and it will bring about socio-economic growth through the development of the region and will encourage prospective youth to take advantage of the proximity of the institution to get educated. That the passage of this bill will no doubt give the people of the region a sense of belonging, as this will be seen as one of the dividends of democracy. Recommendation, Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund, to which the bill was referred, have carefully considered same hereby recommended as follows: that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to establish David Umahi University of Health Science Uburu, Ebonyi State Establishment Bill 2024 SB 365. In conclusion, Mr. President, I wish to use this opportunity to thank the President and distinguished colleague for the opportunity to serve in this capacity, and to humbly request the Senate to pass this bill. And this university already has established structures in place, so there is need for the Senate to look into it and also consider for the passing of this very important bill, Mr. President. Thank you.
Dismiss Senator Akobondo.
Thank you, Mr. President. My very dear colleagues, I remain Austin Akobundu, representing Abia Central Senatorial District. I rise to support the motion ably moved by my chairman, and also to state that this report was comprehensively put together. I so support.
Dismiss Senator Anderson. Huh? No debate. Senator, distinguished Senator Yaya, you were trying to guide.
With all due respect, Mr. President, just making the observation that the debate on this had already passed at the time when the second reading was made. At this point, after he did the thing, we did the right thing by asking somebody to second him. He seconded him, so the leader is now going to ask you to come for committee of the whole, so that we don't have to debate it again after the second reading. That's all. I'm just making observations.
No, your observation is prepared.
Thank you, sir.
So, leader of the Senate, move for us to resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. I move that the Senate dissolve to a committee of the whole to enable us to consider this report. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. I'd like to second the motion that said dissolve into committee of whole to consider the report on third committee. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do resolve in the committee of the whole to consider the report on clause-by-clause basis. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, we now take the report on the committee of the tertiary institution and telephone for this bill of an act to provide for the establishment of David Omaye University of Health Sciences, Uburu, Ebonyi State, and related matters therewith. long title as recommended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses. Number of clauses 32 in all. As recommended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 1, 2, clauses 1 and 2 as recommended. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3, composition of the university. Clause 4, the powers of the university. Clause 5, functions of the chancellor. And then composition of the council, clause 6. Those in support of clauses 3 to 6 say aye.
Clause 6.
Okay, clause 6.
Very, very closely.
So in that case, those in support of clauses 3 to 5 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So now clause 6, yes?
Composition of the council. Under it, I would like you to read number F. Not A, B, C, D, E. Number E. 9 persons representing a variety of interests and broadly representative of the whole federation will be appointed by the president, which looks okay. I look at the recommendation of the committee. 4 persons representing a variety of interests, broadly representative of the whole country. The culture there, how could 4 persons in this country represent a variety of interests across the nation? When we have 6 geopolitical zones, which zones will you make to represent that university? And then which 2 other zones are you going to exempt? I want you to reflect on this. That 9 persons, at least, about 6 persons representing geopolitical interests. And therefore, I seek an amendment to say there must be 6 people representing broad federal interests, at least 6 from at least 6 geopolitical interests, or from at least 6 geopolitical entities.
So you are seeking for, that is a clause E.
Yes.
But the first one says 9 persons representing a variety of interests and broadly representative of the whole federation to be appointed by the president. So you are suggesting that it should be one person per zone. So it shouldn't be 9.
The committee recommended 4.
No, the 4 is to be appointed from the Senate.
No.
No, go through it again. You see F. F says 4 persons are appointed by the Senate from among its members. But it should be the university senates. Yes. So this one is 9 persons. Well, when they say variety, all this is grammar. We can even amend the grammars just to say that 9 persons representing various geopolitical zones. Senator Ani, this university is cited in your place. You want to tell us how to populate it? Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, the composition here.
No, your name.
I'm Senator Professor Anthony.
From?
So what I'm trying to say
From where?
about the South Senatorial District.
Okay, where this university is to be cited.
Yes, yes. Sir, the issue is that it is correct as presented. This is what is obtainable in every other university. The provision here.
So you want us to step it down until we look at the provisions in
That's the point I'm making.
No, I'm saying you want us to step it down until we look at what is obtainable in other universities.
You
Then
can
we
check
come down.
anyway. I'm telling you authoritatively that this is correct.
But we just killed private member bill for special investigators. So how can you be so authoritative?
I'm coming from the university system. I spent 29 years.
So this is the way it is reflected.
Yes, yes.
9 persons
Anybody
to be appointed from variety of interests.
Anybody can make
No, okay. Okay. You are not. Yes. Yes.
The committee of the whole is not approving presentation of the bill by the left-hand side. The committee of the whole approves recommendation on the right-hand side. So what professor is saying does not actually tally. If we are approving this one, it is the redraft that I read through that is we are seeking approval, not the narration on the left-hand side. That's why you see on the right-hand side, return, you take it. Return, you take it. But when it came to this, you say redraft. Look at the redraft.
Professor Ani, look at the redrafting, because clause 6E says for redrafted instead of 9. It is saying 4 persons representing a variety of interests and broadly representative of the whole federation. What he's saying here is that 4 persons will not represent the 6 zones. It seems to be difficult to be appointed, that it will be better for it to be representative of the nation. It should be 6 persons. Because you have abandoned 9, you are now taking 4. But he's suggesting it should be 6. So it will be 1 person per zone.
Information, please. Information.
Professor Yaya, I think you should know better than
Mr. President,
Professor Ani.
Well, I think I'm a veteran of constitutions and laws of universities. Right when I was the chairman of ASU in Ahmad Bello University, we tinkered with so many bills. In fact, we were held responsible for drafting many university bills. There are standard bills. The deputy senate president can bear me out. Because in the 8th Senate, he was the chairman of the TET Fund and Higher Education. I think the major observation now is the position of Ningi. All those other provisions are standard provisions that are there for all the universities. All the universities that have come before this distinguished chamber for legislation. The observation of Ningi is in order. If we are to get the president to appoint people representing all interests of Nigeria, I agree with the position of Ningi that the amendment here on the right-hand side, that's the amendment that what is here is the bill as presented. Now, changes that we require are in 1 to the 3rd column. Now, that column will be difficult for the president to have just 4 people representing the entire nation. So it's better for us to say 6 people representing each geopolitical zone.
That's what I thought.
And once we do it, all other things will be settled.
Thank you. But Professor Ani seems to think that changing it from 9 to 4 is the standard for Ebonyi. So please.
Standard, and it cuts across all universities, and it's being regulated by UC. This one cannot be different. So the least we can do is to cross-check what the standard is and what happens in all other universities. That's my position.
So we are stuck. Chairman, we can move forward unless we agree.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President. I think what is important, this recommendation is done by NUC, but it's important to look at it based on geopolitical zone. Most of the governing councils and other board governing the institutions are more than 4. So I think this amendment is supposed to be done now. Hence, each and every geopolitical zone is being carried on this very important institution, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.
Yes. This is Senator Davinone.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to support the position of Professor Ali. The point being made, sir, is that all other universities have it as 4. For us to say we are going to change that to 6, to carry along all geopolitical zones, has an impact on all the other universities, and it will take us backwards. So if we are satisfied that it is 4 as standard for all universities, we should continue with that model. To amend it just for going will mean that we have to go back and amend it for all other universities again. Thank you, sir.
Well, we are lawmakers. We are lawmakers. So what we decide here is what will stand. If we find, if previous legislations did not take cognizance of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, and then we have noted it here, and we are taking care of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, it will stand. And then what it means is that if others want to align with the new position of the National Assembly, they will bring forward for amendment. Am I right? We are lawmakers. We cannot. We can't be stereotyped. We can't be stereotyped. So, Asuko, what do you want to say?
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Asuko Ikweyo, representing Cross River South. Mr. President, I want to call the attention of these chambers to the list under Section 6. The Council of the University shall consist of the Pro-Chancellor.
Let us finish with the...
Yes, sir. That same point. What they've asked for as a redraft is 4 persons representing a variety of interests. And as distinguished Senator Ningi pointed out, there are 6 geopolitical zones in the country. During the process of appointing the various members to the board, they'll be appointing the chairman, the pro-chancellor, of course, 4 persons, as well as a person from the ministry responsible for education. Under that process, the 6 geopolitical zones may be considered. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Read that portion that says that the 6 geopolitical zones shall be taken care of. But no, read now. You don't make a lot for guesswork. Don't make it difficult for the courts to interpret. Read where is provided here that 6 persons shall be appointed: the pro-chancellor, the vice-chancellor, and 4 others. Read that provision. Is there any such provision to take care of the 6 geopolitical zones?
No,
it is not there. So we want to make sure that every geopolitical zone is taken care of. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, my position is that the form may still remain, but we can include a statement asking that the pro-chancellor, the person appointed from the ministry responsible for education, as well as the 4 people to the board, should reflect the 6 geopolitical zones.
In other words, you are saying that there is work to be done.
Yes, sir.
And that we should suspend further consideration. The Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate. We have a problem. We have to step down further consideration until we are sending it back to the committee to take a second look and get back to us.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Hold on. Let me hear from the former chairman of State Fund.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I quite agree with you. Just the way that, like what the former leader said, that we have a pattern. There's a tradition in terms of passing of this kind of bill. What we need to do is to go back and bring, what we've been doing before, so that because there's never been a problem. I don't know why there should be a problem here. So the sad thing is that we don't have a copy of any ad that yes. No, do you have the ad right now?
We don't have a copy of previous ones.
Okay.
You have? Okay.
Mr. President, I've checked about 4 different acts establishing universities.
Have you distributed it to your colleagues?
No.
Have you distributed to your colleagues?
No, I haven't.
No, what we are saying now is that in order to align with the previous practices, that you can bring forward previous laws for also take a look at and align the major consideration now is being given by our colleagues to what is it? So, Leader of the Senate, in view of the observations, which for me seem very valid, we may wish to move a motion that we return the bill, we return the report to the committee to go and align with the geopolitical zones of the country.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair. In view of the need to align the provisions of this bill to the standard that operate with other similar institutions of higher learning, may I move that we step down further consideration to allow the committee to do further consultations and bring this back for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, the Senate colleagues. I'd like to second the motion as simply moved by the Senate Leader. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, in view of the controversy generated by the number of representations and the need to carry along the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, the motion has been moved that this report be returned, be stepped down, and then further consultations carried out, and then, of course, research done to align it with previous laws guiding university council compositions, and particularly taking cognizance of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country for equity and fair representation. Those in support of this motion that we've stopped here with further clause by clause constitutions until that consultation is concluded. Say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the report will now go back for further consultations.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I rise to move that the Senate does revert back to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
This Minority Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I like to support the motion that's nearly referred back to plenary.
The motion has been moved and seconded that this Senate do return to plenary to report progress. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We revert to the plenary to report progress. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the David Umahi University of Health Sciences Establishment Bill 2024 and approved clauses 1 to 5 as recommended. Step down clauses 6 to 32 for further consideration. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? I thank the chairman of Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund, and we hope that you revert to the Senate within the next 14 days. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that I move for extension of time, subject to, actually we sit to 3 p.m. now, it's not time. Mr. President, let me abandon that motion for now, because our sitting time now is 3 p.m. and I have to 2:45 p.m. to move that motion. At that point, sir, President, kindly permit me to move that in view of developments that require our discussions in an executive session, I move that we go into a closed door session to enable us do some house clearing discussions. I so move, Mr. President.
Before the motion is seconded, I think it's auspicious at this moment for me to wish all of us and our families a very happy independence anniversary. Nigeria has turned 64 years. We had Juma prayers on Friday. We also had a Christian Thanksgiving service on Sunday. And yesterday we had the parade to mark the Independence Day and a public holiday. So I think it's important that we congratulate the president on the 64th independence of the country, and also congratulate ourselves and the 10th Senate and National Assembly as a whole. But I was also waiting for any of the senators to note the broadcast of Mr. President, but nobody has noted it. So there was a very important item in that broadcast that concerned the Nigerian Senate. But since nobody has noted it, I invite you to second the motion for executive session.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to second the motion moved by the Senate that this Senate dissolve into executive session for us to consider a very important matter. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do resolve into executive session to have discuss matters of urgent national importance. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So